Welcome back to Sailing Extreme. In this episode, we're setting off on our summer 2025 adventure. 2 weeks of sailing, exploring and embracing whatever the British weather throws at us. Things started off with a misty morning. Visibility was low, but the forecast looked promising, so we loaded the boat, checked the tides and got ready to slip lines. With time off work and the boat packed, we decided to head east through the Solent and with luck all the way to Brighton. Right on cue, the sun broke through and by the time we set sail, it was blue skies and a gentle breeze. We hoist the sails and start making our way towards the Isle of Wight. When we get the chance to head further afield, we follow the forecast closely in the lead-up. The first few days' forecast seemed fairly confident, but things became much more uncertain after that. We have a rough itinerary, but passage plan day to day, and we go where the wind and tide will take us. As we neared Hurst Point, we ran back into that morning mist. Hurst marks the western gate into the Solent, and with shifting depths and strong tides, it can turn lumpy fast. You'll see how dramatically the water changes as we pass through from glassy calm to choppy chaos and then back again. With strengthening wind, it didn't take long to reach the entrance to Bembridge harbour. Here there is a friendly little marina, which is peaceful and protected. After a quick call on the radio, we had our berth confirmed. With the boat moored and the tide falling, we took a walk around the harbour to the local yacht club across the other side. Bembridge is always a favourite stop. The next day we explored inland, following the Yar River Trail across Brading marshes. It's hard to believe this used to be open sea when Brading was once a seaport. Now it's a wildlife haven. Dragonfly spotting became a theme on this trip. With a solid forecast the next morning, we set sail for Brighton. We altered course behind this large ferry heading to France. Once out of the shipping channel, it was light winds, so it was time for the Code Zero. Our route took us through the Loo Channel at Selsey Bill, famous for gnarly currents, but fortunately visibility was excellent and the sea state was very tame for us. We sailed past the large offshore wind farm and Brighton came into view. There's plenty to see as we sail along the coast towards Brighton Marina. We enter the marina behind the large breakwater. Once inside, we radio for mooring instructions. Berthing was straightforward, as we had the large visitors' bay almost to ourselves. But the unsettled forecast was correct. For the next 7 days, we were pinned down by strong winds. Waves were even crashing over the huge outer wall. There was no chance of sailing, but Brighton had plenty to keep us busy. From quirky shops and alleyways to museums and galleries, and the classic seaside fun on the pier, Brighton delivered. There were even some urban dragonflies to spot. Not forgetting the Brighton nightlife. We explored further afield to Lewes, exploring the castle and soaking in the views of the South Downs. We then tackled the Seven Sisters Coastal Walk, which was absolutely stunning. just gone 7 o'clock in the morning. We've slipped our lines from Brighton Marina, which is just disappearing behind us, going through the breakwater, which has been really quite good in protecting us in the high winds over recent days. So we're just going to go and head out, and hopefully there's some more favourable weather waiting for us outside for a sail back west. Eventually a weather window opened for our return west, but the wind was right on the nose, so it was a long beat back. As we head towards the Loo Channel again, the sea stake built. From here we could begin to bear away, but we found ourselves surfing 2 to 3 metre swells into Chichester. It was a wet sail, but exhilarating. But the best surprise of the day was seeing a large group of seals lounging on the sandbanks as we sailed through the harbour. We moored on the quiet visitor pontoon and had enough tide to take the tender to Emsworth Quay for a walk into town. The following day we took a walk around the harbour.
Water delivered.
Good. Climb aboard. We stocked up on some provisions and made our way back to the boat. We enjoyed a peaceful sunset, and in true salty sea dog style, we finished the day with a sunset rum. This season's pick, Chairman's Reserve. The following day, with kinder conditions, we had a lovely downwind sail to Wootton Creek. Here we were warmly welcomed by the Royal Victoria Yacht Club. Wootton Creek is the home to many multi-hulls. We explored upriver to take a look. We had met the owner of this Dragonfly 800 who had just completed the Round the Island race. This Dragonfly 920 had also competed in Round the Island. We spotted a fellow Dragonfly 920 Extreme, before finding a vacant mooring buoy to stop for a quick picnic. Back towards the yacht club with the tide now flooding out, there are two more Dragonflies. This one a Dragonfly 32, and a Dragonfly 28 Sport. It wasn't long before the creek dried out and we were sat on the mud. From there we sailed on to Newtown Creek.
We have just left Wootton Creek. We've had a rather wet morning, we just had torrential rain here, so everything's absolutely soaking, but the sun is out now and we're just sailing downwind towards Newtown Creek, which is in that direction. We can come out where you can see the ferry in the background behind us. So hopefully at the moment the conditions are quite nice out here, but we have got a big black cloud behind us, so just keep an eye on that. But so far, fingers crossed, we've got the worst of the rain out of the way. Alright. We're now right in the middle of the Solent. We've got Cowes to our port hand side and Southampton Water to our starboard side, and we are surrounded by hundreds of boats. There's probably 6-7 different racing fleets out here. There's a huge racing fleet just behind us and a rather large boat which is going to pass to our stern. So it's a really nice afternoon actually now out in the Solent. So hopefully at the moment we've stayed dry and that big black cloud seems to have disappeared off behind us, so fingers crossed. All looking good, and we're making good progress with around about 8.5 knots of speed over ground.
We picked up buoy number 13, possibly a mistake as I promptly missed it on the first go. After a little jesting from the captain, we settled in for a peaceful afternoon. We explored the upper reaches by tender, drifting back gently on the tide with the wind behind us. Another stunning sunset to close our final night on board. The next morning was flat calm, hot and windless in the creek. Out in the Solent, however, there was just enough breeze to hoist the sails and start sailing.
So here we are, Becky is sailing. We have about 5 knots of true wind speed and about 2 knots of tide against us. 5.2 knots of boat speed, nearly 2 knots on the GPS. And it's Mill Pond flat out.
Not quite champagne sailing, could do with a bit more wind, but it was a debate, leave when there's a bit more wind before it dies off and go against the tide. So that's what we've done. We're coasting along. This is the final sail of our couple of weeks holiday. Unfortunately, we've got jobs to go back to. It's been a slightly frustrating, really light wind day, but still we've had sails up the whole time, despite it only being averaging sort of 4 to 5 knots to begin with. We're now down to 2 to 3 knots, but we've still got 4 knots of speed over ground with a little bit of tide with us now. But overall, it's been a really nice couple of weeks. We've perhaps not had quite as many days sailing as we'd have wanted to because of high winds, but we've still covered a fair few miles and we're still learning lots about the boat. We probably know a lot more now than we did 2 weeks ago, so it's still been a really lovely couple of weeks away. We're just heading back in towards Christchurch and we'll pop the boat back on the mooring, and then we look forward to some more adventures coming up. We've still got quite a bit of the summer left ahead of us, so still much more to do. But for now, we'll just enjoy cruising along, and it's like a mill pond out here. Everyone else is motoring, so it's actually quite nice that we're able to still sail.
Eventually, however, the wind did die and we motored just the last little bit. But before heading back to reality, we squeezed in one more sail, a club race. We didn't hear any start signals, fluffed our first tack, and we were caught out by stronger winds than forecast. But it didn't take us long to get around the course, and we ended up with a very pleasing result. A wet but perfect end to a brilliant trip. That's a wrap on our summer 2025 sailing adventure. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and there will hopefully be plenty more sailing content over the coming months.